We're on.
Hello.
Hello.
Aloha.
It's another week, another episode of Haulers.
Another week, the final episode of this arc at the very least.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the very least.
Such efficiency.
Yeah.
We've more or less kept to the week by week
I know.
situation.
If we developed any kind of an audience, this is the kind of consistency that an audience actually likes, but we've just nobody's here.
That's what my world tour's for. I'm going picking ones out.
Yeah.
You're gonna find out niche in Southeast Asia.
But don't expect, if we don't see some kind of spike in the next 2 months, Phil, then what's the point?
But I know I have failed.
Don't bother coming back.
I'll come back.
Your journey, the mission of your travelling your journey is to spread the word and get us a following as you travel around.
So you're saying I'm basically a Mormon.
Yeah, we need to get some cards made or something, but certainly.
Yeah. I've got a t-shirt, so...
True that.
It's an icebreaker. So,
Is it?
Yeah.
Had a good time.
It's
I don't
a
think-
put this guy on the
Icebreaker?
Icebreaker for other
Fuck's
people
that
who are like,
t-shirt.
who's that guy?
Stay away from him.
We're in the bus with you again.
It's the fucking t-shirt wanker's back.
Oh guys. Yeah.
He looks English.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to Haulers 7.
Just interject that, top quality intro banter, everybody. Well done.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go on.
That's what we do. We pat ourselves in the back on this show. Welcome to Haulers 7, the final iteration in this series of Haulers. Haulers, the first movie. Haulers, whatever the...
A.
Yeah.
Haulers A.
Haulers Origins.
Origins.
Yeah, and me and the Adams wrote it this week, following Phil and Luke's writing of the last episode. And how do you think it went, guys?
I've got to say, it feels strange from this side, the fact that you three know what's coming.
I've been thinking that it's a bit odd with only two blind people going into it.
It's not really a cold read, is it? It's all
it's a bit
lukewarm, tepid.
It's gonna be, we're just gonna come across as unprofessional and unprepared compared to you guys.
How we like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that,
us three have got way off page now.
Just feed me a line, I'm ready to go.
it doesn't help that way. We play main characters as well, so it kind of just looks like we've written for ourselves for a lot of it. Just
I was wondering why Sato is sidelined. In fact, it's Philo, Greg, and K11's time to shine. We just felt like they hadn't had enough screen time.
No Vex, no Winnie, no Sato.
Nah.
You guys just struck
Yeah.
Immediately at the airlock with all three
Let
of
me
you.
get a cushion.
Can I read the scene headings?
Yeah, exactly.
It was dire days that we actually considered giving you some scene headings at one point as well.
That's absolutely fine. It's my last night in the UK for a while. I'm checked out emotionally.
Both on Foley sound effects.
That's right. Yeah. Meow.
It's been good. It's been a good week. Yeah, solid team effort, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Team Iolo.
I don't know.
We jest, but to be fair, I think from a skill set point of view, Yola is very good at just getting stuff down on a page, which is something that I don't speak for you, Burge, but something that I know I struggle with initially. Is just like, fucking hell, this is a blank piece of paper.
Yeah.
Whereas Yola doesn't seem to have that problem, which is great. So then we get a great starting point, and we go from there.
Fucking, you sneeze iambic pentameter, Iolo, you are.
It's shit, though. It is shit. But it's very much like I read this thing that Jordan Peele says that when he writes a script, he considers that it's like putting sand in a sandbox. He knows he has to sculpt it later. And I feel like that was just sort of describing my method. But even though I've had the method for years, it was just I'll take that, and that's a decent explanation for why I write crap loads of stuff. Because I think
do that.
Yeah, because it always reminds me of our me, Adam, and Luke's original writing of Spaceport. Is I think 1 week we were talking about it for 3 weeks, and then I went away and like wrote a lot of it, and then it didn't resemble what I originally wrote in the end whatsoever, because like the Fash Took thing wasn't even in it at that time. So like it literally, like it was just a way for us to have something to look at and go like, this doesn't work there and stuff like that. And it's like really nice to have. I'm a very visual person as well, so.
There was a point when it was just the three of us doing readings, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That's bizarre to think about.
Yeah. And that's one of the first characters that Phil killed was Federico.
Yeah, that's my first involvement was, oh, Phil, can you just give us this a read? And yeah, sounds cool. That's really interesting you're doing that. I was like, I'm not sure about the Federico character. And I've never lived it down.
Which we all knew in our heart of hearts, but we didn't want to accept it because we had such a laugh reading it.
What lines did he have? What were his lines?
Mookie was his
Mookie.
Essentially a cross between Mario and Bora. It was insane.
Off the recording, maybe we can cut that.
Yeah. Birds knows where it's at.
Yeah, Papamuki was one of the fucking funniest things. The other funniest like moment we've had, I think, is like, this is getting reminiscent now because Phil's leaving, I think, to a certain degree, is Octopus Head Read was really good. I think that was Phil, me and Adam. That was one of the funniest things that we've ever read, I think.
Octopi.
Octopi.
It's got more and more Italian gangster.
I think because like I remember you asking like, is it a British crime thing? And I was like, honestly, I've not even thought that far. Go for it. And like Adam gave me like the most like the best like British gangster voice ever. And then we had this character called Tony that Phil came in and just outright Italian, and it was the funniest thing.
So.
Anyway,
God, I can't believe we're at the nostalgic phase of our journey.
Yeah, 100%.
Should be like, yeah.
It's episode 45 altogether, guys. It's quite a slog.
Yeah.
Not slog. Slog sounds negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's what the audience think, isn't it?
That is true.
Maybe at the end we could do a wrap up for all the seasons of all the stupid places we went.
I think that's what the rest of us are going to do when Phil's not here. It's going to do a rewatch podcast.
I would
for all the previous episodes.
I would read it all again. God, I remember like first reading like the Debonair bits and like I remember thinking then going like, okay, this is the best thing that we've ever done in our lives. And then like proven true then with test subject test subject
T,
yeah, fuck, that was so much fun. That was really funny.
It's possibly one of the most surreal moments of my life, though, when like we've done some mad shit, and then it's like, oh, this is just a fridge that was impression. So,
Who was the time travel element? By the way, I didn't introduce that time travel element. I'm not the time travel guy, although I did introduce like the fundamental. Time travel.
It was funny because I was thinking about this earlier. The way that like Iolo, I think you always like kind of castigate yourself for like introducing too much weird shit into the script. So that I was like thinking about, I was like, actually like test subject T, Red Ball, the Council of Debonaires. I was like, oh, that was all me, wasn't it?
Yeah. Red Ball, I love it. You introduced the Chateau Saga in its entirety, which was absolutely bonkers because you had Marsupial, who was literally like the greatest character ever. It's like, oh, Iolo's batshit insane. He's going to make us travel 20 years in the past again.
And what did you do in the Chateau thing? What did you do with the old woman character?
It was like...
Carapace. Yeah,
wasn't she a
child?
Like a shell.
Yeah. Husk for a child who sounded like Gollum. Was Adam's interpretation.
Who knows? Who knows?
So much
Great
fun.
Good times.
Great times.
100%.
Should we maybe get started?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's slightly longer than the previous one, so we've gone to.
Still gonna pack my bag.
That feels late. That feels late to be doing.
I don't know whether you've seen the PDF, Adam, but it's 60 pages. Since we were involved.
The Iolo cut.
Right, Luke Williams, give me a sound. Thank you very much. Cool.
How much pre-planning goes into those, Luke, or is it just on the spot?
You heard him during the day at school. Is that where that comes from?
It's a combination of lots of things. A lot of the things I do are stupid noises children make. And that's apparently something that you apparently say to a cat to you.
That noise you just made.
Apparently, yeah. That's what my kids were telling me today, and they were all walking around. So, if you've got a cat, try it. Who knows? You may become the pied.
Let us know in the comments below if that's Anyway,
cool.
Moving swiftly on.
Okay. Hall of Seven, written by Adam Bunn, Adam Burgess, and Adam Yola Roberts.
I generally properly lolled when I saw that for the first time. So, it really made me laugh. Was it you? Was that you, Iolo? Did you do that?
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
Very good. Cool. I don't know if there's any notes we need beforehand. I think everyone's got same characters as always, except for Zylar and Jackson are now Luke and Phil, respectively.
Okay, cool.
Otherwise,
they make a return, do they? Or is this the end of?
No, they did. They
got quite prominent speaking role. Zylar, particularly.
You spoke Zylar last time.
I think that was me, wasn't it? And he went through about 4 different voices.
I'm not going to be able to follow that, Adam.
I was shy at that last time. So
it was really funny.
Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah, so it's good.
He had like a phone,
especially because the fact that he's
like, he had a phone voice.
I thought it was purposeful to be.
And it was kind of established in his first line that he's switching between dialects or accents and things like that anyway. So he kind of it worked pretty well.
Yeah,
thanks,
And
guys.
it was just a funny voice. The actual sort of Yorkshire twang he landed on was great.
Yeah, it was weird. Anyway, previously, exterior for Rule 6. Or do we need any backstory, or are we just going?
Just go.
Go. The axial tilt, a bit balls deep.
Warp speed.
A vessel, make it so. A vessel bearing the scars of countless journeys limps into orbit around Varugel 6. One of its iron engines sputters erratically as it slows to a crawl. Through the viewport, swirling clouds of Varugel 6 paint a mesmerizing canvas. Rivers and oceans shimmer beneath the cloud cover, and the outline of continents hints at the vibrancy of life below. The weary crew of the axial tilt, having traversed the vast gulf of space, gaze out at this new world, ready to complete their mission. But suddenly, interior axial tilt, same time. The axial tilt descends slowly toward the planet, which steadily comes into focus. Greenish hues turn to lush forestry, and darkened spots reveal themselves to be towering mountaintops. As they crawl nearer, distant silvery rays reflect from a dense cityscape. From within the ship, Philo looks forlornly out the viewport toward the landscape of Varugel 6. Behind her, we hear the whirring and grinding of tools. Greg approaches.
Always weird returning to the homestead, isn't it?
Philo looks momentarily perturbed.
What? Oh, yes.
I will change that to Philo as well as we get to the next part, which is their actual name. So, the reason for the planet's volatile reputation becomes apparent as the ship descends further. Just outside the sprawling, pristine metropolis is a hostile jungle teeming with sharp-toothed bird-like creatures. The birds all gather a great distance away from the city, as if repelled by a mysterious force.
Friends of yours?
Philo smiles sadly.
Those are the Scrickmores, the native species of Varugel. They've a reputation for viciousness, but you'd be just as angry if humanoids came and invaded your native land.
Estimates say the Scrickmores outdate most species in the galaxy, and what little studies have been made on them show a surprising intellect. K11 and Philo turn, taking note of Greg, who is staring down the barrel of a welding torch while trying to turn it on. K11 whips it from his grasp. Unlike some species. The rest of the crew are mending the giant crate that once housed their deadly cargo. They're lining its walls with metal before its delivery, filling the crate with whatever detritus they can find to bolster its weight. Cut 2.
Exterior Varugel 6 landing zone, same time. Zylar and Yaklom, flanked by a dozen or so guards, stand in wait for the axial tilt as it approaches. The weary ship descends and makes its landing right in front of them. The side door opens and the crew make their way out. They immediately hold their heads as a deep, intermittent rumbling reverberates around them.
Zillazom, my friends, and welcome to Varugel 6. Fear not, your malleable internal organs will adjust to our audio defense systems momentarily.
Click some to you too. Lovely planet you have here. Love the buzzer. Got a nice nauseating ring to it. Got to keep that riffraff out. Am I right?
Indeed, sir. The vermin are repelled by this frequency, so you're quite safe. I trust you have the cargo on board.
Greg gestures to K11. From beneath the axial tilt, think Thunderbird 2, the cargo box, now completely covered in metal sheeting, descends from an opening, lowering itself onto the conveyor. The conveyor whirs into life, moving the box along. The party watch.
Ah, very good, sir. Though I was expecting the beast to make a tad more noise.
Well, we've enacted a very strict nap schedule.
Sato rolls his eyes. Xylar sniffs the air.
Also, I did think the pus-filled Grumponius hunting beasts were renowned for their foul stench.
We've just done bath time.
Does it not need owls?
Love that one of them's doing the phone voice and one of them's... Greg places an arm around Xylar and directs him away from the crate.
Speaking of blowing hot air, if we could just get our stamp to acknowledge delivery, we'll get our tentacles. A lot of halls to deliver. You know the drill. Six-legged monsters aren't going to deliver themselves.
We can't let you leave.
Xylar laughs nervously.
What Jackson means is that we can't let you leave without welcoming you to Vorogel 6 properly. Security will do a quick check of your cargo, but in the meantime, you will come with us to the welcoming committee. This way.
Greg looks towards the crew awkwardly. Sato shakes his head in disagreement.
Sure, why not? Always want to see the place anyway. You guys got a zappies?
Xylar and Jackson motion for the crew to follow them through a glass-roofed path away from security. Several guards follow close behind. The crew turn to see the giant conveyor belt take their empty crate toward the city's security gate. Sato walks alongside Greg.
This isn't going to work. As soon as they scan the crate with slump food, we need a plan.
This is the plan, and it's working. And if there are any questions, we've got a local on our side, haven't we?
Come off it. You don't still believe she's actually from here, do you?
What do you mean? She said she...
Like she told you she was an intergalactic police officer from the outset. She's a liar, Greg. Another stray using you for her own means. For all you know, she's from Plopulon, Gargantua, bloody Essex.
K11, several feet in front of Greg and Sato, rotates his head 180 degrees to face them.
Miss Fujiwara actually hails from...
All right, K11, you know who I am. I get it. Very impressive. I apologise, Greg. In our initial meeting, I may have overstated my relationship with this planet.
See?
But I was born here. I am a Tumbian, after all. And we all hail from the Vorogel systems originally. But I left at an early age.
See, Mr. Cynic? Born here. Now let's keep our heads.
I'm not sure Borrowed will let us keep our heads once they realise the crate is empty.
Relax. We'll just say the crate got switched on Quinto or something.
Except there were hundreds of witnesses who saw it escape our hold on Quinto.
Yes, but let's be honest. Most of them are probably dead.
Philo nudges Greg in the ribs and gestures to Winnie.
Ed. Damn, I couldn't think of another word. Sorry, kid.
I told you, my dad is alive. He can handle himself.
Oh, I've no doubt. Sure, he's living it up on Quinto right now, eating zappies all alive and stuff.
Greg wipes his brow.
Great save.
Xylar and Jackson stop in front of an imposing iron door. They place their thruppiatic thrills against the keypad, and the door slides open, revealing a large room.
I'm glad you had to read that, because that was you.
And then
Interior, suspicious meeting room, continuous. Xylar and Jackson gesture for the crew to enter. The guards then file in behind them and stand by the wall. There is a large oval table and plush chairs. A collection of magazines are spread across the table. Grid housekeeping. Vogue. Cosmonautopolitan.
Please, make yourselves comfortable. The welcoming committee will join us here shortly.
Xylar turns to Jackson and begins whispering conspiratorially. Winnie turns to Philo.
Once we're done here, we're going to go find my dad, right?
I'm afraid it might not be quite so simple, Winifred.
What do you mean? You guys promised. She promised.
Well,
What do you mean by that, Kay?
Sato.
What do you mean by that, Kay?
Love it. Well, I have noticed a slight pigment change and a 1.4 degree body temperature elevation in our Varugan friends. According to my galactic biological compendium, I believe this suggests they are hiding something and that this may be, in fact, a trap. Also, it is very obvious that this is a trap.
As if on cue, a blaring alarm starts ringing out and red light flashes inside the room. Zyla and Jackson exchange a nervous glance. The guards instantly turn and raise their guns towards the crew. The crews raise their hands. K11's face screen displays a white flag. Greg turns to Philo. Your typical welcome of Oracle 6, is it?
We've literally just established she isn't really from here, Greg.
Sorry, I've lost the page that I'm on. Ah!
Page 9.
9.
Why is it not displaying? I've just clicked out of it again. I'm sorry.
From the top. No, I'm just kidding.
Again.
It's not saying what page number it is. I don't think it's got night mode. What's at the bottom of the page?
Top of the page is Greg
Your
speaking. Your typical welcome on Oracle 6.
Oh, got it.
So do you want to read that? Greg,
please.
Greg, Iolo.
Your typical welcome on Oracle 6, is it?
We've literally just established she isn't really from here, Greg.
Our sincerest apologies, but we are afraid we cannot let you leave the planet.
Borad's orders.
Snorad's orders, more like. A single guard chuckles, to the dismay of his cohorts. Philo closes her eyes and a pink glow materializes around her body. She raises her hands and speaks in a firm voice.
Calm.
That's so much
Nailed
fun.
it.
The guards visibly ease and lower their weapons. The crew apprehensively lower their arms. K11's screen shows a bead of sweat running down his face. Think we should amscray.
No, wait! You can't leave. Board has demanded it. Guards, stop them!
The guards, still under the effect of Philo's spell, do not move. K11 puts out a hand in front of the office's sealed doors, and they open.
Intel 2000 processors on their security systems. So rudimentary.
God, I know, right? I don't know how they manage. Let's discuss it at length whilst an entire planet tries to end our lives.
Sarcasm. Noted.
Most of the gang burst out of the office doors and head back towards the dome's entrance. Before they leave, Philo turns to Winnie and holds out her blaster, smiling warmly.
Here. Things could get ugly out there. You keep a hold of this, just in case. I think you know how to use it.
Winnie cautiously takes the blaster from Philo. As the pair turn to follow the group, Winnie's cat-like ears twitch at the sound behind them. In a single motion, she pushes Philo to one side and twists on the spot, drawing the blaster and firing a single shot.
Winnie, what are you doing?
Philo looks back into the room to see Zyla falling to the ground, holding one of the incapacitated guard's rifles.
That was just bad manners, friend.
Jackson is visibly distraught and outraged in equal measure.
What have you done? You'll pay for this, you filthy little...
He's silenced by Winnie raising the blaster toward him. He begins to cower and shake. Philo steps forward and rests a hand on Winnie's.
Conserve your ammo. He's no threat.
Winnie nods, lowering the weapon gently. Greg reappears in the doorway looking scared, alerted by the blaster fire. What the... I thought we had it under control.
Did you? Because it looks to me like you just wet yourself.
I'm a nervous sweater. Cut to.
Exterior of Oracle 6 landing zone continuous. The gang burst outside onto the landing zone. The crew once again writhe upon hearing the deep rumbling buzzer, which has now been laid with a blaring alarm klaxon. 100 or so armed guards, their guns at the ready, gesticulate wildly toward them. Things are starting to kick off, basically. The crew of the axial tilt take pot shots with their blasters, taking cover behind nearby stacks of luggage.
Don't think we'll win this one, Greg.
Just keep shooting.
The gang cower closer and closer to the ground as the guards' laser blasters decimate their cover. It's looking like their time is up when suddenly the sound of a gigantic crash resonates through the space. The fallen Chimera comes into view, landing heavily on a nearby landing zone. The ship screeches to a halt.
Dad? There you go.
One of us, so that's both Phil.
No, I didn't think about that one. The doors of the fallen Chimera burst open and Vex Russo leaps out. He holds blasters in every hand, which shoot in different directions, expertly dispatching nearby guards.
Hold on, Vex Russo's your father.
You know him?
His face is plastered across half the walls of my office.
Have a things for arms, do you?
Greg looks sorrowfully at his two meager arms.
He's one of the most dangerous mercenaries in the galaxy, Greg.
That's my dad. Dad, I'm here.
Winnie stands in excitement from seeing her dad before being tackled to the ground by Philo. Philo raises a hand and a pink force field erupts around them, protecting them from laser blast so they can return to their cover. Vex hears his daughter's cries through the sound of the blaster fire. He looks upon the crew of the axial tilt and growls.
Think he's mad because we accidentally kidnapped his daughter?
Estimated level of anger and violent retribution are... A guard lunges at Vex with an electro baton. Without breaking his focus from the crew, Vex deftly counters, twisting the guard around in one fluid motion before snapping his neck. 100%. The guard's focus split. The crew of the axial tilt finally makes some headway in the battle. Greg and Sato score a few kills of their own, paling in comparison to Philo and Winnie, who seem to make quite the team. Sir, permission to activate combat mode.
You had a combat mode this whole time.
Amongst a multitude of functionalities you make little use of, I also crochet. It's all in the manual. Permission to activate.
Yes, of course.
K11 rises nonchalantly amid the battle and takes a few steps away from his cover. His facial display turns from a nervous emoji to a gigantic red X. His arms flip backwards, revealing blasters nestled within.
Can't believe he never told us he crocheted.
K11 spins on the spot, his every blast striking a guard square in the forehead. Even Vex, once unrelenting in his pace towards him, takes cover behind a nearby crate. After a moment of firing, K11 relents. The crew of the axial tilt reluctantly poke their heads from cover. K11 has dispatched almost all of the guards. Those that remain begin to scamper away. An uneasy quiet by the ever-present defensive frequency befalls the landing zone.
Now knit me a hat.
Greg.
Greg looks to his crew, who all have their arms raised. Stood angrily in front of them is Vex Russo, his every arm training a gun towards their heads.
You have something that belongs to me.
Classic, Dad. It's so good to see you.
Winnie runs to her father and hugs him tightly, but Vex does not move. He keeps his pistols trained towards him.
Winnie, get in the ship. I'll be there in a moment.
No, Dad, they saved me. We don't need to hurt them. That isn't the mission.
In the ship, Winnie. Now.
The mission?
The robot. He's coming with me.
I appreciate the offer, but I'm afraid I must decline. My duties require me to remain with the axial tilt. My sincerest apologies. I am bound by Protocol Directive KA2458.
You're here for K11, but why?
Not your business, cop. It was nothing personal. That was until you went and took my daughter.
No, they saved me, Dad, from the monster.
The same monster that would have that would have been tucked up in a box if it weren't for their incompetence. That don't mean much, sweetie.
I resent that. I mean, it's true, but I still resent it.
Well, allow me to relieve you of your resentment.
Vex pulls the hammer that is obviously on every standard issue laser blaster, readying himself to fire.
Please, hold your fire. I will come along willingly.
Okay, no, you'll do no such thing.
I don't think we're in a position to bargain, sir. My primary function is to keep you safe. I made that promise to your father.
K11 makes his way over to Vex.
K11, no, do something. Vex, Mr. Russo, surely we can work something out. We saved your daughter. We protected her.
It's true, Dad. They did. Don't hurt them, please.
You harm a hair of this on this crew's head, and I'll see to it that the entire Galpol makes you their primary target.
Funny. My employers might have a thing or two to say about that.
No one is above the law.
How about those that make it?
Before Philo can respond, Sato interrupts, looking around them.
Listen, you guys hear that?
No?
Exactly.
Intel 2000 processors, as I said, very rudimentary.
There's silence. The buzzer has stopped. Suddenly a rumble fills the space, revealing itself as the sound of 1,000 flapping wings as it grows ever nearer.
You rusty bag of bolts! What have you done?
K11 holds his hand up, little antennae sticking out of it. The word awkward scrolls on his face screen. The swarm of Scrickmores erupt out of a nearby cluster of trees, darkening the sky as they descend. The sight momentarily freezes everybody in place.
Might I suggest you run?
With Vex distracted, the crew begin running back toward the tilt, which is docked further down the landing strip. Vex turns 3 of his pistols toward the escaping crew, firing blindly as he races over to K11, eyes still fixed on the incoming swarm. K11 watches his crew get away and doesn't notice Vex flip the power switch on the back of his head. K's face screen flickers before going blank. and Vex drags him toward the fallen chimera as the Scrickmore swarm engulfs the scene in a blur of wings, beaks, and talons. Cut 2. Exterior, axial tilt loading ramp, continuous. Greg, Sato, and Philo scramble up the ramp at the tilt just ahead of the swarm. Sato turns to watch the unfolding chaos, his eyes drawn to a cluster of Scrickmores 30 meters back. He just about makes out 4 small arms frantically fighting off the creatures.
Oh, hell, Tash.
Sato leaps back down from the ramp. Cut 2. Interior axial tilt cockpit continuous. Greg jumps into the pilot's seat and instantly sets their course away from the planet. The fallen chimera can be seen through the cockpit, taking off into space.
We all good?
There's no response. Greg notices the empty chair beside him.
Sato, where are you? Are we good?
A panting Sato bounds into the co-pilot's seat, his face scarred from an intense battle. He hits a few switches on the console.
Nice of you to join. Are we good?
Oh, good. Punch it.
The axial tilt roars into life, bursting up through the atmosphere of the planet. As the nothingness of space envelops them, Sato and Greg share a somber moment.
I can't believe it, Greg. K.
We'll get him back. I've known Kin 11 my entire life. He'll stand firm. He's a tough nut to crack.
I'm sorry you lost your friend. I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't.
Greg turns to see Winnie, also looking for worse for wear, standing beside Sato.
Wait, what are you doing here? Why aren't you with your dad?
Winnie looks up towards Sato, who puts a gentle arm on her shoulder.
Could go leaving it, could I?
Greg smiles and taps Sato on the shoulder lovingly. Greg, I'm so sorry. We'll find a way of getting Kay back, I assure you.
Damn straight we will.
In time. We need to lay low for a bit. No doubt Borad will be after us after all that.
Greg looks at Winnie again.
And besides, I have a feeling Vex will find his way to us in his own time. Cut 2. Interior, fallen chimera, same time. Vex Rousseau, having cleared the planet's atmosphere, turns to his quarry, K11. Vex reactivates K11, whose face screen blinks back to life.
Now, it's like I said, friend. It ain't nothing personal. There's a holodisk in that mess of cogs and wires you call a brain that I need. Now, I'm a reasonable man. Play nice, and you'll come out of this with all your faculties intact. But I swear, any funny business, and I'll strip you down and sell you for scrap.
K11's face screen flashes gulp, and he nods.
Winnie, come pilot the ship while I get more acquainted with our guest. Winnie?
Vex scans the hold of his ship, but Winnie is nowhere to be seen.
Winnie?
At that moment, a battle-scarred scrap heap of a ship whizzes by his viewport at warp speed. K11's facial display changes from a nervous emoji to a wry smile.
Greg does seem to have a way with strays.
Ah!
The crew of the actual tilt return in haulers 2. Haul harder.
Very nice. Very nice. That's really good.
I so very thoroughly enjoyed that.
That was fun, that.
It's fair.
So thoroughly.
Nicely done, guys. I really
You
enjoyed
did a
that.
really good job.
Yeah.
Well,
Post-credits scene.
post-credits, yeah.
Post-credits.
sorry.
Almost credit scene.
Exterior, desert moon of Fallopia, day. A vast barren desert stretches endlessly toward the horizon, where it meets a purple-hued sky. The sun beats down mercilessly. Suddenly, with a brief flash and a deep pop, the Gionsphere materializes. It flashes and beeps rhythmically before shooting forwards at impossible speed, whipping up a storm of sand in its wake. We follow it as it silently propels across the landscape, dodging rock formations and blasting straight through giant dunes. As abruptly as it took off, it suddenly stops in the shade of an ancient and long-dead tree.
Protocol Directive KA2458. Compromised. Awaiting further instruction.
A mysterious hooded man sits in the shade of the tree, supporting himself on a gnarled makeshift staff. He takes hold of the sphere.
Greg.
Oh, that was great. Excellent live delivery there, mate.
What an ending.
What an ending. Greg.
Greg is mysterious man played by Ringo Starr.
That was great.
Greg.
Oh, that was great, guys. You wrapped that up so neatly in a bow. Obviously, there's loads of loose ends, but that's the point. There's no places to go.
You wrapped that up really well, but there's loads of loose ends.
There's always loose ends.
No, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You took the
Leaves
story
the audience wanting
to
more,
a
right?
good point.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. I would watch the hell out of that
Yeah.
show.
Because I feel like, I don't know, like, I'm not worried about the rest of the guys, but I thought, like, you know, we've set ourselves the director of 15 pages. Granted, we went a bit over, but, like, we could either, like, play it out as it sort of realistically should without, like, paying much heed to, like, just, like, meticulously going through every question and answering it. Because there was a time where, like, we tried to answer more questions, but it just felt like a bit of an info dump certain times.
Well, we were answering questions because if it was ending, it's not necessarily ending, is it? So
exactly.
you have time to explore those.
Yeah. I feel like...
I think we decided quite quickly, didn't we, that we weren't going to tie.
Yeah, there's only so much to do.
Like everything.
Yeah.
I think you did really well with what you had, to be fair.
Yeah.
No, it's very nicely done. And it read well as a 15-page just script on its own accord, I thought.
Really did.
Yeah.
I thought the fights were done really well. I really enjoyed those parts. What I really like how everybody's written is that whilst aspects of the crew are semi-incompetent in ways, but they are kind of competent as well. They do fly a ship and do things, and it was nice to sort of see that bit of exposition that they can be quite capable.
Yeah. I feel like they're capable as a whole. I feel like they found each other and like as a whole together, they actually they accomplish great feats, whereas individually they're a bit idiotic.
I love that we've seen more of Philo's kind of competency come through and badassery, I guess. Given a few of the comments regarding her feminine kind of vulnerability in previous scripts.
Well, I killed her off immediately.
Feminism doesn't sleep.
Especially space feminism.
But yeah, no, I liked Horrors. I quite liked doing it.
Really like it, yeah. We actually sort of finished something there as well, aren't we? It's pretty nicely done.
I think
I knew we could do it, guys.
Yeah. 15 pages is nice as well. I'm not sure about everyone else, but like the 30-page thing felt like such a slog. Comparatively, 15 pages, you know you can do it, and you can do it in like the span of like a couple afternoons, which essentially means that if you've got a week to work on it, you could literally like churn it out really, really quickly and then just sort of fiddle with it like non-stop, essentially.
Yeah.
It works out really, really nice. But yeah. Now we've got a bit of a dynamic change coming up because our Philip is leaving us for a multitude of months. Depending on how many subscribers we've got, we might let him back.
Yeah, that's fair. What's the target? 100k?
Please.
Per destination.
That's a lot of people in Asia. A lot of people.
Yeah, he's doing the But Suddenly World Tour alone.
My agent won't let you guys come, so...
No, yeah.
Sorry.
I've been banned from Thailand since I last went.
Thai band.
Yeah, so Philip.
That's why you're going.
That's
why you're going.
That's why the talent's on the road.
Yeah.
No, it's been good. It's been interesting.
Been
So you're going to carry on in my absence, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know if are we going to carry on Haulers? I don't know if we are.
Oh no, I thought we were pausing.
No, I think pause.
I assumed we were pausing Haulers.
We'll pause Haulers. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, somebody needs to voice the mysterious man.
Yeah, nobody else can do that, Ringo style. So yeah, we'll think of something else to.
Yeah, we'll discuss it next week or something.
Top up YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll think of something to do. I'm sure of it.
Sure you will too.
Well, on that dynamic end, should we?
We'll
think of
we're fucking hopeless without a spinner. We're too reliant on the spinner. This is the point we're like,
there's a gap in
spinner? Now we've not got a spinner. We're like, yeah, cool, guys.
good job. If we all just wave enthusiastically and just end it like that.
Yeah. Bye, Phil. Have a good time.